pretty far south in Texas. We've got all kinds of influences, whether it's food, cultures, language. It's just an interesting mix where everybody can participate in a place that all of us enjoy living in.
For me, it's like an honor and a privilege to play with San Antonio. The fans come every night, every game. I just love them. They're always excited. They love the Spurs.
It just makes me happy to see them win. It really does. It comes with the pride for being a Texan, the pride for being born here in San Antonio. No matter what, I'm always going to love them till the day I die.
They show a lot of love on every single game when we're on the streets, on the shop, or anywhere. So we feel very blessed.
A standing ovation for the Spurs from the sellout crowd here at the AT&T Center.
The fans in San Antonio think of the Spurs as their neighbors, their friends. It's our team, and any problems anybody has, it just goes to the wayside, and everybody just stands up and unites for their Spurs.
The city of San Antonio has been an absolute perfect fit for me. I truly believe we have the best fans in the NBA. They're diehard, and you love to have people like that.
It is a big family at the Spurs, and the Spurs are all family with San Antonio. And you know what? Everybody catches that spirit, and they want to be a part of that.
Well, the Spurs are owned by every citizen of San Antonio. We're like everybody's child. Everybody cares about the Spurs, and everybody lives and dies with Spurs losses and wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, your San Antonio Spurs!
We're tied at 101. Mocker out front against
In
Harris.
2006, the San Antonio Spurs were on the verge of winning one of the epic playoff battles in NBA history against the Dallas Mavericks.
It's the Manu Trace! Manu Ginobili just hit a three-pointer.
They were one defensive stand away from victory, but that stand never came.
Nowitzki right in the lane, rolls him right to the rim, and lays it in and draws the foul. What a clutch play by Dirk.
The Spurs season is over. The Dallas Mavericks have defeated the San Antonio Spurs.
So it was kind of tough, especially lose Game 7 at home, and you go back in the locker room, and I saw Michael Finley cry.
We were all hurt. The faces were really sad, and it was hard to talk to each other because how upset we felt.
It was probably one of the most disappointing losses I've ever been a part of. The team was very hurt by it because we felt like everything set up for us to go back and win another championship. So we just said, hey, think about it, realize what happened, and then build on it.
The Spurs would begin their 2007 season on foreign soil as they opened up their training camp in France.
I can't think of a better place to start camp. The best part about it is the camaraderie that can develop, when you're in another place.
Can you please go get Coach Popovich doing push-ups and sit-ups? You want entertainment?
Let me ask you the same question I asked Will. You got as much talent as Tony Parker and myself? Yeah. Do we still have to do all this stuff?
Yeah.
In some ways, it made perfect sense for the Spurs to be there. They were the NBA's most international team.
Mon ami, let's go. How do you say backwards in Spanish, Manu? Para atrás. Para atrás. Para atrás. That doesn't look anything like backwards to me.
But the Spurs weren't there for a field trip.
Come on, Manu, get in shape, get in shape. Run, run, run. Listening is important. Then maybe we don't foul Nowitzki the last play of the game. We have another ring.
We're refocused, we're back in it, and we're excited to get started again.
What the Spurs were excited for was another championship run. They had the league's most successful team for over a decade and had won 3 titles. Their coach Greg Popovich and his great center Tim Duncan had been there for all of them.
Pop's military background sets the tone here as far as wanting things in a disciplined order. With his discipline, it moves on down to the soldiers. That's where, you have your sergeant and Tim. He's going to go with his sergeant and make sure all the privates are in order.
One of the privates of note was lightning-quick point guard Tony Parker.
Beautiful scoop play by Tony Parker from way down low.
Parker was flanked by the Argentinian Manu Ginobili, a relentless competitor.
Ginobili. Oh, Ginobili with the move. It's good.
And then there was Bruce Bowen, one of the game's best defensive players.
Nowitzki with the fake on Bowen. Bowen with the block and the tie-up. What a play.
And there were seasoned veterans Robert Horry and Michael Finley, who were always ready to make the big shot.
Clock winding down. Back out. Finley puts up the three. It's good. Finley nails the three with 1.3 remaining.
The Spurs were one of the deepest teams in the league.
Alberto Duncan. Count it. And a foul. Oh, mama.
But as the season unfolded, the Spurs failed to live up to their lofty expectations.
An uncharacteristic mental meltdown here.
Early in the season, we had a lot of problems. We had a lot of up and downs, and we didn't play as well as 2006, where we had the best record.
Wow! Blocked there by Millsap and rode him right out of bounds.
We didn't dominate like we used to, and we didn't win the close game like we used to.
Pretty simple. You got to find yourself. Spurs have got to get back to playing Spurs basketball.
Early January to mid-February was being really tough for us.
When you look at Dallas and the way they're playing, and Phoenix as well, but you can't be concerned about them. This team's got to get better itself.
They've got to get better. Let's talk about it after they come back from the rodeo road trip. That usually cures all the ails.
There's going to be enough time for a catch and shoot. 0.8 is left. They lob it up high. Howard! Oh, man! You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me! Howard wins the game! And the Spurs are stunned as they head to the locker room.
Well, right now they're 8 games on the loss side behind Dallas, so we know that they're being questioned, Mike, and this is very difficult for this team to accept.
Wade! Another block!
San Antonio will go 2-4 on this rodeo road trip. And we have All-Star Weekend Friday, and the trade deadline will be not too far away.
I think somebody in the West got to make a trade to catch Dallas. But the only team I'm talking about is San Antonio. Everybody in the West is chasing Dallas, and I expect San Antonio to do
It was messing with our heads a little bit.
But despite the uncertainty, the Spurs had a reservoir of stability to fall back on, and its source was the bond between Pop and Tim that began 10 years ago.
We got the first pick. Pop went to St. Croix and spent 3 or 4 days just hanging out with Tim, walking on the beach with him. That really was the beginning of their relationship.
Thought if I went down in his home environment, that it might help me understand who he is.
There were many times early in their time together when Tim was making his way into the NBA, and he used Pop as a counselor.
So you guys are going to lighten up on the press a little bit, right? You can't talk to those guys 24 hours a day, Tony. I don't care if they're from Paris or not, right? All they want is a story. You want to win basketball games, so you can spend some time on the game and not all those people.
Like you, Pop. I'm just trying to be nice with the I never had a head coach invite me to dinner, in the summer, or invite me to his house, and talk about stuff. He's like, when it's not basketball, he's a great guy.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. We got to talk about that first quarter. You guys
I don't think I've ever been on a team where a coach says, know something about your teammate, know about what's going on in his life, get to know him. Because if you know something about your teammate, he becomes a part of you. He becomes like family. And this is the only team I've been on that emphasized family more than anything I ever seen before.
And now, with the trade deadline quickly approaching, Pop would have to choose whether or not to keep the family together.
Pop went in the locker room and said, guys, there's not going to be anybody we're going to bring in here to salvage the season. There's going to be no heroes. This is the group we're going with. And, this is the group we're going to see if we're good enough.
We will not make a trade. No matter what it says in the papers or on TV, we were not going to do it. And we were all basically stuck with each other, so to speak.
Ginobili, just his second miss. Duncan for the offensive board and refeeds Ginobili. Triple teamed inside, still scores and one.
He set the team in the right direction. He got guys looking around saying, hey, you know what, I got to do my part.
Jock Vaughn scoops it out. Finley for three. You betcha! Bowen pokes it away. Bowen steals a basketball. Tony Parker to Tim. Count it! Oh, mama!
We had a coach who wanted to stay the course and believed in the players that he was putting out on the floor.
Ori and Duncan, terrific blocks. Parker keeping it alive. Yes! To Bowen, and he scores! Oh, what a terrific defensive work and hustling effort by the Spurs.
Defensively, we got better. Offensively, we got better. And we just started playing more cohesive like a team.
Right wing Ginobili. Ori sets a screen for Manu. Whips a pass inside Oberto. He finds Ori for a layup. Nice passing by the Spurs.
It was as if their whole season had magically turned around in one moment. But Popovich knew that it was much more than that.
A man sits and watches a stonecutter doing his job with his chisel and watches him pound on this rock.
Duncan the rebound.
And it takes a long time and nothing's happening. And he starts counting each one of the little hits on the rock, and he gets to 100 and nothing happens. And finally on the 101st blow, that rock opens up and splits.
Bowen on the drive, flips it inside Ori to Duncan, banks it in, and a foul. Tie game.
The man watching knows that it wasn't the 101st blow that made that stone split. It was the 100 previous blows that made it finally happen.
And the Spurs have pushed their winning streak to 11.
It's the only saying in our locker room, but to us it means that you can't skip steps, that it will be a long journey, that it will be difficult. You don't know when it's going to happen.
And a true team effort tonight. Tim Duncan and the crew ahead of the locker room. 12 straight for the Spurs.
But it's important to stay the road. It's important to continue to work through ups and downs, to not stop, and to know that at some point, if you're persistent, it can happen.
Although they wouldn't catch Dallas or Phoenix, the Spurs had the best record in the league in the second half of the season. And while they still weren't the favorites going into the playoffs, they didn't care. They had split the stone, and that's all that mattered to them.
Good evening and welcome to the AT&T Center for Game 1 of this opening round playoff series between the third-seeded Spurs and the sixth-seeded Nuggets.
The Spurs entered the playoffs on a roll, and they figured to have momentum on their side. But they found out that that wouldn't be the case.
Besides us, in my opinion, the hottest team at that time was Denver.
Look at the slashing move by Iverson inside for two.
He's fearless.
Shot clock and average. Right by him is Carmelo Anthony.
This is not right. You know, why do we have to play this good a team this early in the playoffs?
Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson were the highest scoring duo in the league. And in Game 1, they took the home court advantage from the Spurs.
Those two scorers put in 60 combined points. I was like, oh man, this is going to be a long series.
Spurs are in trouble here. This could be very, very interesting here coming into a Game 2.
You know, the sense of urgency has gone up another level. They've taken away our advantage that we had.
Going into Game 2, the Spurs needed their big three of Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili to best Denver's dynamic duo.
Duncan on the inside with the flush.
But Iverson and Anthony were matching them.
Iverson, it's a three, and it's good.
The Spurs needed something extra, and their role players, led by Robert Horry, would give it to them.
Iverson with the steal.
You know, somehow Iverson ends up with a loose ball and it looks like he's going in for a layup, and Robert turns back the clock and comes sprinting from the backboard.
Parker gets back denied by Robert Horry, trailing the play.
Hits it off the backboard, we get the ball, we go the other way.
Is this Ginobili's chance to get involved?
Mark that play down right there. Absolutely huge.
Suddenly what was about to become, I think, a 1-point game, 2-point game, now it's a 5 or 6 point game.
Bowen with the steal. Five straight Ginobili. And timeout taken by George Karl and the Nuggets.
You have Chiefs and you have Indians. You have the head guys like Tim, Tony, Manu, then you have the Indians like myself, Bruce, Finn, who's not going to get a lot of credit. You have to have guys who do the little things, the guys who go out there and just work hard for your team to make you successful.
The Spurs had done more than tie the series. They had started a trend. And as the games moved to Denver, their role players continued to make big plays.
Nice steal. Horry for three.
Unbelievable play. Here's Blake drawing a double. Pass intercepted by Bowen. 2-on-1 with Ginobili. Getting by Iverson, and Bowen slamming it down.
The other team's always going in the locker room going, we had him, man. They got a call, that guy made a shot, something happened down the stretch. But when you do it a lot, you start to see that it's not an accident. There's a pattern there.
And in the pivotal moments of Game 4, the Spurs' most familiar pattern played out again.
The game is going on and it's starting to get real tense, and your heart rate's up and you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. And then you see the ball find its way into Robert's hands.
Parker into Iverson.
And then, you know, he kind of gets that leg in that tripod stance of his and he plants it and the ball's off, and you just know that it's got a great chance of going in.
Outside for Horry, over Camby. Are you kidding me? Oh, what a shot! Robert Horry has done it again! Big shot Rob with a big-time triple!
And finally, in Game 5, Michael Finley sent the Nuggets home for the summer.
There's Finley, another big three for Michael Finley. Gets it off to the left corner, Finley for three. He did it again! That's his 8th three-pointer.
You know, I think those role players sometimes are what separates you. You know, you have the two superstars with Denver and the big three for us. But I think those guys separated us from Denver.
The San Antonio Spurs, after losing Game 1, will win 4 consecutive and will advance to the second round.
I'm enjoying the moment. I'm with a great group of guys, and this opportunity doesn't come about in people's careers too often, so I'm definitely making the most of it.
The Golden State Warriors have pulled off the biggest playoff upset in NBA history as they dispatch the 67-win Dallas Mavericks.
With Dallas gone, Phoenix, the Spurs' next opponent, was now considered the favorites to win the West. The Suns were led by two-time MVP Steve Nash, and they were the popular choice.
I think everybody outside of this organization picked Phoenix to beat us. We like being the quote-unquote underdog.
Nobody talks about us because we don't have that flash, and we like that. That way we can just be stealth and fly under the radar.
Let's go, Suns! Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona, as the second round of the NBA playoffs underway. We've got a great matchup for you of two great teams.
Everybody kept talking about that Phoenix Suns could win a championship this year. The hype was there, the intensity was there. We just wanted a chance.
As the series started, both teams played to their strengths.
Spinning inside.
Duncan left of the lane. Now he's able to push off, shot off the glass and in. And here come the Suns. Into the front court, it's Nash. Nash roving, Nash all the way.
But just when it looked like Nash was going to put his stamp on the game, the other point guard took over.
Parker backs away beyond the three-point arc now. Parker on the drive. Parker to the basket. He scores, count it, and he's fouled.
Every defensive possession is used. So run back, turn around. Don't let Parker come down. That's the #1 stop.
Parker being met defensively by the Suns, Sean Marion. He goes to his right, gets into the lane. 14-footer is going to go.
Parker had the Suns on the ropes, and then he delivered the knockout blow.
Parker will slow it down. And a foul call on Nash as Parker's shaken up.
I was trying to, penetrate to the basket, and Steve tried to, reach, and we bumped heads. I thought I was beating at first. I thought it was me. I was like, oh, once again, I'm going to have a scarf.
Nash is shaken up also. Well, Parker's going to stay in, but it looks like Nash will not be able to stay in.
Yeah, Steve's got a pretty good gash across the bridge of his nose. That thing's busted wide open. Aaron Nelson cannot get it to stop.
With Nash unable to stay in the game, the Spurs took away the home court advantage.
The San Antonio Spurs will steal game 1 here in Phoenix.
Old veteran basketball team gutted out and grinded, coming to game 1 on the road and getting a huge victory.
For whatever reason, this happened to me, to us today, and we'll just have to hope we don't have other sort of calamities at the end of the rest of the playoff games.
What I told them was that they should enjoy it this evening. That's probably allowed maybe till about 10 or 11. And after that point, it doesn't mean one damn thing. Not one damn thing.
The Spurs wouldn't be able to enjoy their victory for very long, as the Suns ran them out of the building in Game 2. But as the series shifted to San Antonio, the Spurs knew it was crucial to take both games at home.
Duncan against Thomas. Spins inside on him. Off the glass. Shot is good for Tim Duncan. The bank is open on a Saturday night in San Antonio.
But while Duncan made sure that the Spurs won Game 3,
Step takes it inside. Draws contact. Shot is good. And a foul. And it's all Tim Duncan right now.
Another storyline was developing. The series was becoming extremely personal.
Bowen raised the knee into Nash, and Nash is on the floor.
Mike D'Antoni is very upset. He's yelling something in the direction of Bruce Bowen. Oh, he got hit right in the face by Sean Marion, and they missed it. Otto's shaken up.
Would you classify it as a physical series?
Oh, really? Yeah, well, half of it. They're half. Now we're going to make it our half. So, yeah, it's very physical. And, yeah, it's very physical. Can't say anything. We just got to take care of business. All right? Thank
you. The Spurs were one home court win away from putting a stranglehold on the series.
Parker racing, able to beat Nash down the court. That's the type of play that has beaten Phoenix in this series.
And for 3.5 quarters, they seemed like they were well on their way.
Tim Duncan is just absolutely having his way with the Phoenix Suns.
But then, inexplicably, they wilted.
We started looking ahead a little bit. We were kind of satisfied with having the lead.
Oh, Nash behind the back. Stoudemire scores going right at Duncan.
Let our guard down, forgot who we were playing, and Phoenix made us pay.
And out of nowhere, come the Phoenix Suns in the fourth quarter.
The Suns rode their late comeback to a Game 4 victory, but they couldn't escape San Antonio unscathed.
And here is Nash being chased, and they had him. Oh, look out. As Ori sent Nash flying, and Bell goes at Ori. Nash got up. He wants to go at Ori. The Suns did not appreciate the foul by Robert Horry.
What an incredible sequence we have seen here.
for leaving the bench during the altercation. Both Amare Stoudemire and Boris Diaw would be suspended for the pivotal 5th game.
Now you go into Game 5 and there's no Stoudemire and there's no Diaw, and what's the game going to be like? How are they going to play? And I think it was the scariest game of the whole playoffs.
Phoenix is a difficult place to play in the first place, but you knew everybody would be pretty rabid knowing the situation. We would rather have had nobody be suspended and just play.
They always say we're vanilla and we do nothing wrong and we're always the nice guys. So for me, it was funny to see that we was the bad boys.
In an NBA series no one will soon forget, the Spurs and Suns have displayed blood, sweat, and tears. It's been hard-fought, emotional, and gut-wrenching at times. Tonight, it's Game 5, Spurs and Suns from the U.S. Airways Center in Phoenix.
Come on, guys, we gotta be tough mentally. It's gotta be right, precise, every time. Everybody on the board. Everybody's playing. Let's go. Let's go.
Phoenix may have been undermanned, but they came out fired up.
Here is Nash. Suzanne! Nash hits the super shot, and it's 22-11. The Suns on top. Nash drives right side. In the corner, Marion. Marion at the baseline. His floater good. Marion with an 18.9 rebound first half.
What a start for the Phoenix Suns. Playing shorthanded, but they ran the Spurs off the court.
We dug ourselves a huge hole, and we're down, 15, 17 points at Phoenix, hanging out for our lives.
The Spurs were a team filled with championship-tested veterans, and now they would need them more than ever.
All year long, we've been building to be that kind of team that doesn't lose composure, that kind of team that doesn't crumble under pressure.
Ginobili drives to his right, takes it into the baseline, and takes it to the rim and scores.
The Suns lead is down to 9. Ginobili from downtown.
Manu Ginobili picking the right time to finally get going in this series.
We were able to be down and understand that we're not out of it and to continue to play.
Duncan pretty deep as he backs in, spins, shoots, scores.
The game is tied at 81.
It had taken the Spurs the entire game to get back to even. And now in the final seconds, they would look to grab the game and the series lead.
We kind of scratched and clawed our way back in, and Tony gets into the paint and he makes the perfect read, the perfect pass, and Bruce rises up right in front of their bench.
Bowen for 3, yes! Bruce Bowen from deep in the corner has given the Spurs an 84-81 lead.
I didn't see it go in at that moment because Steve Nash was closing hard on me, but I could tell it went in by the way the crowd was just a hush.
Well, it's going to be a tough loss for the Suns.
We kept pushing, knocking on that door. And finally, we knocked that door down.
Now we're back in San Antonio for Game 6, and it's a must-win for us. The crowd's going to be behind their team. They're going to be rowdy and loud, but we just got to come out focused. We won here before. Just got to do it again.
We got to have a big on that because if Bruce comes in on that.
No, Bruce can't come.
Bruce can't come on that.
This has been a great series so far. A lot of tension and pressure too, but we know how tough it can be to win in Phoenix in the Game 7. So we know we gotta play a great game today and don't let them get loose.
I think there's been a little bit of drama to this series, or what? Game 6, Spurs-Suns really has a Game 7 type of feel. Suns, their backs against the wall. Win or go home.
Spurs on 3. Spurs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Spurs.
With Diaw and Stoudemire back, the Suns were anticipating another road win. But this time the Spurs wouldn't let them out of their sights.
Nash. Bowen stays right with him.
Nash against Bowen. Nash with a few dribbles. Bowen right in his grill.
Steve Nash, I don't think there's a team that has made him work harder than the San Antonio Spurs. Bowen has done a fabulous job.
This is tremendous defense, and it makes Nash take a shot that he would not normally take. He's rushed right now on his own shot. He's frustrated.
He was always in his face, making some of his easy looks harder, and just being a pest for 48 minutes.
I can't say enough about the job that Bruce Bowen has done on Steve Nash. Exactly what he wants to do, be a pest. He's in Steve Nash's head right now.
played them tough, man. You know, it's incredible that somebody has that much energy to just stay on you like a hound, just coming after you every time, you know, always in your face.
With Nash neutralized, the rest of the Spurs moved in for the kill.
Manu pushed the ball ahead to Parker. Parker all the way in, lay it up and good. Tony Parker from Manu Ginobili.
We are watching a great performance from a great basketball team.
Slam dunk by Tim Duncan. Out front, the pass is tipped by Ginobili and stolen. Here comes Manu against Boris Diaw. Stops and pops off the glass. It's good for Manu Ginobili.
San Antonio in complete control of this game.
That's going to do it. Celebration time, San Antonio.
The San Antonio Spurs will face the Utah Jazz in the conference finals. And the Suns' season comes to a bitter end.
It's always a good feeling when your team competes at a high level against another team who's also competing at a high level. And those are the moments that we all coach for or play for. And we were fortunate enough to end up on the winning side of that.
Sweet game, man.
It's game one of the Western Conference Finals between the Utah Jazz and the San Antonio Spurs.
Now, how many times do we have to write this team off? As you know, I remember last year talking about they were too old, that they need to get younger. They continue to add pieces, and they're sold on being the best and doing whatever it takes, no egos involved. And you'll be able to put them in amongst the great teams ever.
As the conference finals began against the Utah Jazz, the Spurs were riding a wave of good feeling.
How about the pass from Tony Parker? Only one place he could put it.
Duncan single coverage. The spin move on Okor. Boy, it makes it look easy. Duncan. Oh, pretty bounce pass to Alberto.
Are you kidding me? That is a beautiful thing to watch.
Clicking on all cylinders, the Spurs made the Jazz seem like bystanders.
The San Antonio Spurs putting on a clinic.
When our offense matches our defense, we're a very, very good basketball team. When we really get a flow and get a rhythm and use pace, then things really become easy for us. And we were able to do that against Utah.
Lobs to the rim. Slam dunk.
San Antonio on fire. Everything going San Antonio's way. The Spurs putting on a show. Just a complete and total domination tonight. Bonner.
The Spurs dismantled the Jazz in 5 games.
San Antonio Spurs are going back to the NBA Finals.
Great feeling, baby.
It's great, but as our fans and my teammates understand that this is just part of the process, we still have a bigger job ahead of us.
While the Spurs were going to the finals for the 4th time in a decade, in the East, a young superstar was trying to carry his team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, to their first.
Did he go way up to throw it down? 5 on the clock against Chauncey. Behind the back dribble. Force. This is unbelievable. This is Jordan-esque. LeBron James with a huge hoop. I don't believe it.
This goes down as one of the all-time performances in NBA history.
And, spurred on by the heroics of LeBron James, the Cavaliers would upset the heavily favored Detroit Pistons.
What he's done in 4 years here is not short of amazing.
The Cavaliers are headed for the NBA Finals for the first time in their history.
Championship on 3, man. 1, 2, 3.
Championship! Yeah!
Game 1 tonight!
Round 1, round 2, round 3. LeBron's left. 1 more to go.
San
Antonio, Texas, where tonight two teams take the NBA's biggest stage. The Cleveland Cavaliers are here for the first time in the 36-year history of the franchise. And the San Antonio Spurs, well, they make it a habit to play in late June. It's their fourth NBA final in the last 9 years.
I guess this is the finals, huh?
I appreciate this moment now, the finals, because I understand there's a lot of guys that would love to be in this position right now, and we're the only two teams playing in the best league in the world.
You know, game one is all about sending a message. You know, hopefully we can send a message and get a win.
All we got to do is outwork that team. That's it. Outwork, execute. Everything we practiced since day one will get us the championship. Let's win game one first. Let's go. That's it.
Spurs on three. Spurs on three. 1, 2, 3. Spurs.
The league plays 120 preseason games, 1,230 regular season games. We've had 75 playoff games. Cleveland and San Antonio are left.
The main concern is clearly LeBron. I mean, you know, A, he's such a great talent. B, he was coming off a series when he just did some things that normal people, you know, don't do, much less young guys in this league.
LeBron James is not allowed to play one-on-one because the Spurs are sending 2 or 3 guys at him at all times.
The San Antonio defense swarmed around James every time he touched the ball and frustrated Cleveland's young star.
LeBron James still without a field goal.
So start knocking down some shots. We got to keep the defense and the boards right now. Good job on LeBron. Good work.
James out front. Driving on Bowen into the paint, stops, pops a fadeaway jumper. It's off the rim, rebound tipped by Finley, grabbed by Alberto. Ahead to Parker, up tempo, attacks all the way in. Tony with the layup with the left hand, scores.
Grease lightning, to say about Tony Parker. Puts it on the deck, gets doubled. Brent Barry to Finley, the ball movement's nice. Parker goes baseline, layup good and a foul.
The opening act of the finals was turning into the Tony Parker show.
Before the first game, we were about to get on the court, and I always have a quick chat with Tony before he's about to go out for tip-off, and I told him he's the best guard in the series. Go out and prove it.
And that's going to be a big problem for the Cleveland Cavaliers, containing Tony Parker.
I see it happen so many times where in transition, you see the looks on their faces where, uh-oh, here he comes.
Here goes the Spurs. Parker, two hands over the foul.
Right now, you got Tony Parker. He ain't hit a jump shot yet. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
But no matter how much they tried, the Cavs just couldn't stop Parker.
Tony Parker is orchestrating, dominating, and completely controlling the game.
Parker's energy had ignited the Spurs, and they started to roll.
He went right between Gibson's legs. He dribbled right between the legs of Daniel Gibson. Manu, that is why you do the voodoo that you do so well.
Down by 18, the Cavs were on the verge of being blown out.
Hey, listen. Just make sure we run the play. I don't want to just come and stand and watch. You got to play basketball. Okay, run the other road.
Leave it on the floor, man. Let's go. One possession at a time. Here's LeBron down the lane at Duncan. Right-hander is good. He attacked the rim. James right side. Barakau comes to give him the screen. LeBron up top, fakes right, takes another three. Made another three. James heating up. Still a lot of time here. James off the pick. LeBron pretty low. And Anderson for a shot. Here comes the Cavaliers.
Suddenly, the Cavs had cut the lead to 8.
We don't win quickly. That's not what this is about. This is, you know, you unpack your bags, you take your time, and you win over a long period of time. Don't be in such a hurry.
The Cavs had turned a rout into a contest, but the veteran Spurs had them right where they wanted them.
Oh, man, that was sweet. Oh, Spurs trying to apply a shot to the gut of the Cavaliers.
And the San Antonio Spurs showed Cleveland what their championship pedigree was all about.
They stay on their feet and cheer in San Antonio as Parker and Duncan pick apart the Cavaliers.
We knew that everybody was going to be talking about LeBron. We knew they was going to have all eyes on them. All the media's going to be covering them. And it was fine with us. Let them get all the hype. Just go out and do your business and do what you need to do to win.
Instead to Ori, he finds Duncan. Slam dunk, put it in the back pocket. The Spurs are going to win game one.
San Antonio 85, Cleveland 76. Game one belongs to the home team.
As game two approached, the Spurs were feeling pretty good about themselves.
In game one, concentration was there, execution. So if we can improve on the mistakes we made, we'll be in a good shape.
Let's go, Green. Go, hey. Play free and easy. Have fun out there. Communication's big tonight. Talk to each other a lot so you know what's going on.
And as the game began, no one was having more fun than Tony Parker.
Slam is good. How did he hit that?
Parker's to the basket. Banks it in. Tony Parker putting on a show once again.
It's down there on that end of the floor, man. We got to make sure we do a better job. Tony's got to the hole twice.
But when Parker and the other starters left the game, the Spurs bench kept the pressure on.
Barry cutting inside. He finds Elson. Slam dunk. Ori to Barry to Elson.
Good block by Ori. Robert Ori fresh off the bench, throws it back.
Dribble handoff, Ori, right side, wide open three, Brent Barry, you bet!
12 straight points by the Spurs, and a 15-point lead.
Brent, great job shooting. You didn't hesitate one time. I thought that was great.
It was as if San Antonio had reached a state of basketball perfection.
Duncan out to Parker, left wing Finley, left corner Bowen for three.
This is as precise a basketball team that I've ever seen.
And for a brief moment, they even managed to please Pop.
Keep the pace, keep moving the basketball. Doing a good job. We're not in a hurry, we're just moving great.
Ginobili pass out to Parker, top. Ori fakes the three, comes in the lane, pitches it back, a Parker three. Good! Tony doing it all.
Well, this one right now is a massacre. Largest lead of the game, a 29-point advantage.
The Spurs had turned game two into a rout.
Let's not get discouraged. It's only us, man. We got to continue to play hard and get better, all right? Let's go, come on, man.
For the first 3 quarters of the game, the Spurs had used the Cavs as a punching bag. But then in the fourth, the Cavs punched back.
James fakes left, goes right at Duncan, right hand layup, good.
James gets inside and lays it in. James on the drive, and Duncan banks it in, and a foul. LeBron James does it again.
In just minutes, the 29-point lead had been trimmed to 8.
That's all gone. That's all gone. It's 0-0. Let's play.
But just as their late rally was beginning to revive the Cavaliers' hopes, Tony Parker would dash them.
Parker driving, spinning, off balance, puts up the shot, and scores! What a basket by Tony Parker. Duncan has it down low, back to Parker, 22-footer right wing. Good! Shot for Tony Parker is good, he's got 30.
Every big shot from Tony Parker.
And that could be the dagger for Cleveland's comeback tonight.
You could see it in him that these finals were going to be his. First 2 games were unbelievable.
And the San Antonio Spurs will take a 2-0 lead in the finals as this series will shift to Cleveland.
If Spurs win it all, do you think you will be the finals MVP?
It's a long way, man. It's a long way, but
I don't think about that. You know, I'm just trying to be aggressive and just try to play my game. And whatever happens, it's still going to be Timmy the man. You know, Timmy is our star in our team.
And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome live to the Quicken Loans Arena here in Cleveland, Ohio, for the first-time visit ever for the NBA Finals. They've been waiting for 37 years, and now more than ever, they need a win.
It's always a good feeling to come home. You know what I'm saying? You had a home crowd behind you. You know, they haven't experienced something like this in a long time, so it's going to be electrifying this arena, and hopefully we can feed off that energy and, you know, get a big win.
Tony, you thinking about your wedding at all? You thinking about your wedding at all?
Oh, not now.
There's no question, even though after we got the first 2 games at home, we thought we were okay, but we were concerned that we were going to see a much different Cleveland team than we did in San Antonio.
Boys, just take your home court. All right, let's go. Let's get it done. Championship on 3. 1, 2, 3. Championship.
Even though the Cavaliers trailed the Spurs 2 games to none in the series, they were still dangerous. And it was the exact same position they were in before they upset the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, they were back home and ready to do it again.
Our guys were very cognizant of the fact that things could turn quickly, and we needed to be really ready for Game 3.
The Spurs may have been ready for what was coming, but that didn't mean they could stop it.
Duncan, blocked by James. There's just an extra bounce to their step here in the Quicken Loans Arena.
He spins LeBron under the hoop. Spun it up. Damon Jones holds the ball over his head. The ball into LeBron. Under to Z. Hammers it home with 2 in.
Game 3 here in Cleveland. Little different story thus far for the Cavaliers.
We know we got to deal with adversity. This is what it's about right now. We got to continue to keep plugging away. It's a long time to this game. Let's keep plugging.
Down for the first time in the series, the Spurs would try to counter the greatness of LeBron with a group effort.
Great scoop reverse, no good. Rebound, Duncan picks Bowen right side 3. Good. Bruce Bowen's hit 3 triples. He has 9.
Back on the right wing, Robert Horry, a 3-ball, drills it. This ball game is tied.
The crowd a little anxious right now.
Parker to the top of the key, to the line of the lane, hooks it over his head and in. The San Antonio Spurs battle back from 8 down to lead by 2.
Horry left side, Finley 3. Got it. Michael Finley hits a 3. Spurs lead by 10, and Mike Brown takes a timeout.
San Antonio had a fourth-quarter lead. It was a familiar situation, but the question remained whether they could hold on to it.
We got to keep our defensive discipline. We haven't done it in a 4th quarter yet. That's what this quarter's about. Stops and boards and pushing it back.
Hey, this is what we want. We want this right here. All right? We want the challenge, and we want to take it on. That's why this is a 48-minute game.
And as if on cue, LeBron James would begin another fourth-quarter comeback.
Puts it up. LeBron backs outside. Dance it against Bowen. Goes to the line, goes to the lane, flips it up and in.
James looking for an opening. Drives to the basket, gets inside. Count it, and a foul. 8-0 run, and it's a 2-point game.
Our team knows that there's going to be adversity, and teams that can handle that and think about the next play offensively or the next stop defensively are going to be the teams that can come through that.
And with the Spurs only up by 2 and the Cavs threatening to take the lead in the final moments, the Spurs would need another big shot.
Manu puts it on the deck off Havkovich, met by Varejao. Parker a 3. Good! Tony Parker hit a big 3.
Parker had once again answered the call for San Antonio, and now it was up to LeBron to see if he could do the same for the Cavs.
Okay, man? Let's go right here. Let's go, man. One shot, bro. One shot. Let's go, folks.
Okay, now listen up. We're not leaving any 3-point shooter. Everybody's locked up on their own guy. So don't get caught on some kind of a flare or anything. Get over the top. You're taking LeBron by yourself.
5.5 remaining. They're out of timeouts.
Damon Jones triggers to LeBron outside. Here's the 3-pointer on the way. Off the rim, no good. Tipped by Ilgauskas, couldn't squeeze it. It's over. The Spurs have won Game 3, 75-72.
San Antonio has a commanding 3-0 lead, and they are one win from their 4th NBA championship in 9 years.
Michael Finley is 1 game away, by the way. Not taking anything for granted. 1 game away.
If you're looking for a sweep, it's not happening, Jack. For real. It's not going down.
Our back is against the wall. Well, matter of fact, our back is inside the 2 walls right now, being down 0-3. So, you know, it's either win or go home. Simple as that.
No sweep tonight, baby. Not in our house. Woo! Yeah, go Cavs!
Because of the situation they are at, they're going to do whatever it takes not to be swept. So we want to finish it as soon as we can. We don't want to give these guys life.
Don't think twice about shooting that outside shot. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Making history starts tonight, all right?
Gibson into LeBron. LeBron right of the lane, into the lane, turns, spikes that shot up and in. That's a play he can do all day long. Oh, James on the slam. LeBron James coming out attacking.
Backed into a corner, the Cavaliers responded, and they seemed to have the Spurs on their heels.
Gibson, a long three. Let's go. Cavs getting good balance. Greg Popovich wants a timeout.
Hey, don't slow down, fellas. Yeah, your defense rebound is good. Hey, stay aggressive. The whole night, stay aggressive. Keep coming. I'm sorry.
The player who had been most aggressive in the series was Tony Parker, and he would once again put the Spurs in high gear.
Hey, the one thing we got to do is that shot goes up. We got to get back.
But the Cavs had no answer for Parker, who could not be slowed down as he pushed them to the brink of elimination.
Tony Parker again, going 1-on-3, taking Pavlovich into the paint, abusing him.
12 minutes away from another world championship. The San Antonio Spurs have an 8-point lead at the end of 3.
12 minutes. You either advance or you go home. 12 minutes. Advance or go home. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? Lay it all out.
The Cavs had 12 minutes to try and save their season.
Shoot the ball! Take him, LeBron! Go! Stay with it, boy!
Knocked away by Varejao and stolen. James ahead to Varejao. Goes up and finishes. This Cavalier crowd, they're hanging tough, and the team is playing hard. Duncan is a charge. Duncan called for charging. Well, the Cavaliers playing right now like they're about to win the title. We might be witnessing a miracle. James to the basket inside, puts it in. And their first lead of the second half in the entire series.
And the fans are delirious. 9-0 run by the Cavs.
Hey! Come on now. We got time here. Settle down. We need to stop. Settle down.
No hesitation. You either let it fly or you drive it. I don't care which. All right? No hesitation.
The Spurs had one final challenge in front of them, and as they had all season, and in the game's waning moments, the Spurs would display more than just their talent. They would also show their true character.
This is the champion. They are on the glass, keeping everything alive in this last minute and a half.
And another miss. Oh, and James tips it out. They can't rebound. Duncan inside, Alberto. Foul, count it, and one.
Fabricio Alberto with the biggest basket of his life. And the Spurs are on the verge of their 4th NBA championship.
very, very long journey, but it's all worth it. When you hear that buzzer and the last team standing, it's just a great. I feel very proud of the humility and the professionalism that we show against the Cavs and the way we played. It's not easy to sweep a series less in the NBA Finals, so what we did it was amazing.
When individuals are willing to sacrifice their own individual ego for the betterment of the team, success usually happens, and that's what happened with us.
The buzz are created not through just the good times, but for the times we've lost, for the times that we've struggled, for the times that that everything hasn't gone our way. It's more about the journey than just an end.
The process was long, and now it's time to really enjoy it. Don't kiss it off. Don't say, let's move forward. We'll worry about that in September and October.
To be there and get that trophy, you know, it's an unbelievable feeling.
To the MVP of the 2007 NBA Finals, Tony Parker, we say congratulations and bon chance.
Watched him grow so much, and come in here as a teenager and watch him develop and struggle and get screamed at and respond, and to see him perform at that level and to get the award, I was very proud of him.
The only person I'm gonna give it up to. The only person I'm gonna give it up to.
Was there earlier?
And don't get too used to it. I'm gonna get it back.
A couple of things to say. One, I'm so proud of you guys for playing for 48 minutes every game throughout the entire playoff. I mean, you earned this. You deserve it. Really happy for you. But there's a couple things I got to say. Number one, we're going to practice some next week because
Man, this is great. So this is what it's all about, huh? Whew.
I'm just really lucky. I consider myself like the luckiest man on the world, being in this team with these guys. You know, being sharing this moment with you guys is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's three. That's three. Hey, that's three. Woo! That's three. Three's not easy. No, three's not easy. Three's not easy at all. And 5 years. And 5 years. Woo, it's tough. Real tough. Especially with Coach Pop.
This is a true family. You got a lot of people who talk about their team, their family, but this team loves one another so much. I love all you guys. Thank you for everything. We love you too. For the hard work. And one more thing. Bounce.
To go on the Riverwalk right here. That's my man Matt Bonner. That's my co-captain right there. What's up, San Antonio?
We've been blessed. We've been blessed. We've got 4 of these. We bring another one home this year. A lot of guys haven't done it, but you guys continue to come out and support us. We continue to do our best, and hopefully we can get another one.
How sweet it is.
It's been a wonderful journey, and to share with you guys that we're so supportive of the whole season, it's unbelievable. So thank you very, very much. Gracias a todos. It's a privilege to play with a great team, and it's our 3rd championship in 5 years for me, 4 for the city of San Antonio, and hopefully we'll do it again next year. Thank you.
Unbelievable. People, how many feelings, people, how many people crying over there, it's crazy. Unbelievable.
It gets better and better, never gets old to win.
I don't think anybody ever gets tired of this, so thankful that I had this experience. So, thank you, San Antonio.